The nuclear fuel cycle. Well, it's not really a cycle. The nuclear fuel cycle is more like a one-way ticket to annihilation. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's start at the beginning. Making nuclear fuel is a long and dangerous process. First, raw uranium is mined out of the ground like coal. Large deposits are found in several regions of the United States, Canada, South Africa, Namibia, Australia, Kazakhstan, and Russia. At this point, we have raw uranium ore. This is crushed and ground into a powder at mills, usually located near the mines. The residue is left behind in huge settling ponds that dry out, turning into radioactive dust that can get carried away by the wind. Then sulfuric acid is used to create a mix of uranium oxides called yellowcake. This is almost all uranium-238 that will not split, and so can't be used to generate electricity or make nuclear weapons. Now the yellowcake has to be converted to a gas so it can be enriched. This is where the uranium that won't split is removed, and the kind that will is concentrated. Enrichment plants are huge industrial plants taking up hundreds of acres. They use millions of gallons of water and lots of electricity. The enriched uranium, now uranium hexafluoride, is converted back to uranium oxide and then baked into small pellets at fuel fabrication plants, then loaded into thin metal rods. Each rod joins hundreds of others in a bundle called a fuel assembly. The fuel assembly is what's loaded into the reactor core. The exact right conditions start subatomic particles, called neutrons, flying around inside the fuel rods. When a neutron hits one of the uranium atoms that will split, the breaking of the nucleus releases heat. The heat is what reactors use to create nuclear energy. Just like a coal plant, the heat from the fuel boils water, which generates steam, which turns a turbine, and then turns a generator, and electrons flow as current into wires. These fuel assemblies are created in plants in South Carolina, Washington, Tennessee, Virginia, and North Carolina. They are then sent to nuclear plants across the country by truck or train. Other countries must have it shipped. Any accident along the way could mean a release of a large amount of radiation. But nuclear fuel is traveling around the U.S. more often than we want to believe. Each year, about a quarter of the reactor core must be removed and replaced with new fuel assemblies. The spent fuel, the spent rods, are so radioactive they have to cool off in storage pools for 5 years. All operations have to be done underwater to prevent worker contamination. The spent fuel is extremely radioactive, 5 to 10 million times more so than the uranium fuel, but no longer of any use to anyone. Some people want to reprocess it, but that's even more dangerous. So basically, it's just waste. Garbage. Doo-doo. So then what? That's the zillion-dollar question and the biggest problem of nuclear energy. We started up this road without knowing where the waste was going. That's like building a skyscraper with no toilet. Except normal waste is just a stinky nuisance. Radioactive waste is deadly. Once released into the environment, you won't see it or smell it or feel it, but it will contaminate the land and water forever. Okay, not exactly forever, but millions of years is a mighty long time. The cooling pools are getting very full, and even after a plant is decommissioned, since no one has figured out what to do with the waste, it remains on site, sitting in dry casks. At operating power plants, the waste keeps accumulating at a rate of about 30,000 pounds per year, ready to wreak havoc on our lives should there be any sort of incident. We can't let the nuclear industry gamble away our future. We must stop making more of this fuel and the deadly waste that it becomes. We have to stop this cycle now.